The coronation and nuptial celebrations have been going on since dawn. The crowd has just acclaimed the Queen and the conqueror of the Sphinx for the last time. Everyone goes home. In the little square of the royal palace now rises only the slight murmur of a fountain. Oedipus and Jocasta find privacy at last in the nuptial chamber. They are very tired and heavy with sleep. In spite of a few hints and civilities on the part of destiny, sleep will prevent them from seeing the trap which is closing on them forever.
I'm tired. You're so full of life, my dear. I'm afraid this room will become a cage, a prison for you.
My dear love, a scented bedroom, a woman's room, yours. After this killing day, those processions, that ceremonial, that crowd which still clamoured for us under our very windows.
Not clamoured for us, for you.
Same thing.
You must be truthful, my young conqueror. They hate me. My dress annoys them, my accent annoys them. They're annoyed by my blackened eyelashes, my rouge, and my vivaciousness.
Oh, it's Creon who annoys them. The cold, hard, inhuman Creon. I shall make your star rise again. Ah, Jocasta. What a magnificent program.
It was high time you came. Oh, I'm exhausted.
Your room, a prison. Oh, your room, my dear. And our bed.
Do you want me to put away the cradle? After the death of the child, I had to have it near me. I couldn't sleep. I was too lonely. But now...
No.
What?
The dog was. The dog. The fountain. The dog.
Oedipus?
Dog.
Oedipus?
What?
You were falling asleep, my dear.
Me? Never.
Oh, yes, you were. You were telling me about a dog who won't a fountain dog.
Nonsense.
I was asking you if you wanted me to remove the cradle. If it worries you.
No, on the contrary. It'll be the cradle of my luck. My luck will grow in it beside our love until it can be used for our first son.
My poor love.
You see.
You're dropping with fatigue. And here we stand. Stand on this wall.
What wall?
This rampart wall. A wall. Well, what's happening?
Well, this time it's you dreaming. You're tired out, my poor sweet.
I was asleep. Did I talk?
We are a pretty pair. Here I go telling you about fountain dogs, and you tell me about rampart walls. And this is our wedding night. Oh, Jocasta, if I happen to fall asleep again, now are you listening? Do please awaken me. Shake me. And if you fall asleep, I'll do the same for you. This one night of all must not founder in sleep. That would be too sad.
My darling, why? We have all our life before us.
Maybe, but I don't want sleep to spoil the miracle of passing this night alone with you. I suggest we remove these heavy clothes since we're not expecting anyone.
Listen, my darling boy, you'll be cross.
Jocasta, don't tell me there is still some official duty on the program.
While my women are doing my hair, etiquette demands that you receive a visit.
A visit? At this hour?
A visit, a purely formal visit.
In this room?
In this room.
From whom?
Oh, no, don't get cross. From Tiresias.
Tiresias? I refuse.
No, listen,
That's
my
the
dear.
limit. Tiresias playing the part of the family, pouring out their farewell advice. How comic. I refuse.
I am asking you to. It's an old custom in Thebes that the high priest must in some way bless the royal marriage bonds. And besides, Tiresias is our old uncle, our watchdog. I'm very fond of him, Oedipus, and Laius adored him. He's nearly blind. It would be unfortunate if you hurt his feelings and set him against our love.
It's all very well in the middle of the night.
Do, please. For our sake and the sake of the future, it's essential. See him for 5 minutes. But see him and listen to him. I ask you to.
I warn you, I shan't let him sit down.
I love you. I shall not be long. I'm going to let him know he can come. Now be patient. Do it for my sake. Think of me.
Yes,
Steady, my lord.
I am listening.
Were you told I had saved up a sermon for your especial benefit?
No, Tiresias, no. And I don't suppose you find it pleasant acting as killjoy. I suggest you are waiting for me to pretend I have heard your words of counsel. I shall bow, and you will give me the accolade. That would be enough for us in our tired state, and at the same time custom would be satisfied. Will that do?
It is perhaps correct that there is at the bottom of this procedure a sort of custom, but for that it would be necessary to have a royal marriage, with all the dynastic, mechanical, and, I admit, even irksome business which that entails. No, my lord, unforeseen events bring us face to face with new problems and duties. And you will agree, I think, that your coronation and your marriage appear in a form which is difficult to classify and does not fit into any code.
No one could say more graciously that I have crashed on Thebes like a tile from a roof.
My lord.
Let me tell you that things fitting neatly into categories reek of death. What we want, Tiresias, is not to fit, but to make a new departure. That's the sign of masterpieces and heroes. And that's the way to astonish and to rule.
You are right. Then you will admit that I myself, by playing a part outside the ceremonial sphere, am also making a new departure.
To the point, Tiresias, to the point.
Very well. I shall come straight to the point and speak with all frankness. My lord, your auguries look black, look very black. I must put you on your guard.
Just as I expected. Anything else would have surprised me. This is not the first time the oracles have been violently against me, and my audacity has thwarted them.
Do you believe they can be thwarted?
I am the living proof of it. I have killed the Sphinx, freed the city, and I am claiming what you promised. And tell me this. Why should the gods have pushed me on as far as this room if this marriage displeases them?
Do you think you have solved the problem of free will? Power, I fear, is going to your head.
You mean power is slipping from your hands?
Take care. You are speaking to a high priest.
Take care yourself, high priest. Must I remind you that you are speaking to your king?
To the husband of my queen, my lord.
Jocasta notified me a little while ago that her power is to pass into my hands in full. Run and tell that to your master, Creon.
I serve only the gods.
Well, if you prefer that way of putting it.
Oh, you don't understand.
I understand perfectly well. An adventurer is in your way. I expect you hope I found the Sphinx dead on my path. The real conqueror must have sold it to me, like those hunters who buy the hair from the poacher. And supposing I have paid for the mortal remains, whom would you find ultimately as the conqueror of the Sphinx? The same type of person who has been threatening you every minute and preventing Creon from sleeping, a poor private soldier whom the crowd would bear in triumph and who would claim his due. His due!
He would not dare.
Ah, you see? Ha! I made you say it. There go your beautiful promises. That's the secret of the intrigue. That's what you were counting on.
The queen is more to me than my own daughter. I must watch over her and defend her. She's weak, credulous, romantic.
You are insulting her.
I love her.
She is in need of no one's love but mine.
Do you love the queen?
With all my being.
I mean, do you love to take her in your arms?
I love most of all to be taken in her arms.
Well, I appreciate that delicate distinction. You are young, Oedipus, very young. Jocasta might be your mother.
What is that?
Oh, I know you are going to reply.
I'm going to reply that I have always dreamed of such a love, an almost motherly love.
Oedipus, aren't you confusing love and love of glory?
Oh.
Would you love Jocasta if she were not on a throne?
A stupid question which is always being asked. Would Jocasta love me if I was old, ugly, and had not appeared out of the unknown? Do you fancy you cannot be infected by love through touching purple and gold, and none of the privileges of which you speak, the very substance of Jocasta, an organic part of her? We have been each other's from all eternity. Within her body lie fold after fold of a purple mantle which is much more regal than the one she fastens on her shoulders. I love and adore her, Tiresias. At her side I seem to occupy at last my proper place. She is my wife. She is my queen. I possess her. I shall keep her. And neither by prayers nor threats can you drag from me obedience to orders from heaven knows where.
Now think it over again, Oedipus. The omens and my own wisdom give me every reason to fear this wild marriage. Think it over.
It's rather late, don't you think?
Have you had experience of women?
Not the slightest. And to complete your astonishment and cover myself with ridicule in your eyes, I am a virgin.
You?
The high priest of a capital is astonished that a country boy should put all his pride in keeping himself pure for the single offering. You would no doubt have preferred a degenerate prince, a puppet, so that Creon and the priest could work the strings.
You are going too far.
Must I order you again?
Order? Has pride made you mad?
Oh, don't put me in a rage.
What arrogance?
My patience is at an end.
Weak and arrogant.
You have brought this upon yourself.
Let me go. Have you no shame?
You're afraid that I could, from your face, there, close up in your blind man's eyes, read the real truth about your behavior.
Murderer, sacrilege.
Murderer? I ought to be. One day I shall probably repent. Look. Gods. Look here, in his blind man's eyes. I had no idea it was possible.
Let me go, brute.
The future. My future, as in a crystal ball.
You will repent.
I see. Soothsayer, you have lied. I shall marry Jocasta. A happy life, rich, prosperous. 2 sons, daughters. And Jocasta, still as beautiful, still the same, in love, a mother in a palace of happiness. No, it is not so clear. I want to see. It's your fault, soothsayer. I want to see.
Accursed.
Oh, filthy wretch! I'm blind. He's thrown pepper at me. Oh, Jocasta, help! Help!
I threw nothing, I swear. You are punished for your sacrifice.
You lie!
You wanted to read by force the secrets in my diseased eyes, which I myself have not yet interpreted, and you are punished.
Water, please, water quickly, it's burning me.
There, keep quiet. I forgive you. Come, keep still. Your sight will return, I swear. You reach the point which the gods wish to keep in dark. Or they may be punishing you for your impudence.
I can see a little, I think.
Are you in pain?
Less. The pain is going. Oh, it's like fire. Red pepper, 1,000 pinpoints, a cat's paw scrabbling in my eye.
Can you see yet?
Oh, no, not clearly. But I can see. I can see. Oh, I really thought I was blind for good. And that was one of your tricks. In any case, I deserved it.
We like to believe in miracles when miracles suit us. And when they don't, we say it's a trick on the part of the soothsayer.
Forgive me. All those images of the future in your eyes, it made me mad. I really am ashamed of my conduct towards you, a blind man and a priest. Will you accept my apologies?
I was only speaking for your own good and Jocasta's.
Tiresias, in a way, I owe you something in return. A confession that is difficult to make, and which I had promised myself I would make to no one.
A confession?
I noticed during the coronation ceremony that you and Creon had some understanding between you.
Oh.
Do not deny it. I wished to keep my identity secret, but I give it up. Listen carefully, Tiresias. I am not a wanderer. I come from Corinth. I am the only child of King Polybius and Queen Miriam. A commoner will not soil this marriage bed. I am a king and son of a king.
My lord, a word from you would have cleared the atmosphere. Oh, my little girl will be so glad.
But wait. I ask you as a favor to safeguard at least this one night. Jocasta still loves in me the wanderer dropped out of the clouds. The young man stepping suddenly out of the shadows. It will unfortunately be only too easy to destroy this mirage tomorrow. I hope the Queen will learn without disgust that Oedipus is not a prince fallen from the sky, but merely a prince. I wish you good evening, Tiresias. Jocasta will be on her way back.
My lord, excuse me. One last word.
What is it?
Well, forgive my boldness, but this evening, after the closing of the temple, a beautiful young girl came into the private chapel where I work, and without a word of excuse, handed me this belt and said, "Give it to Lord Oedipus, and repeat word for word this sentence. Take this belt. With that, you will be able to get to me when I have killed the beast." I had scarcely tucked away the belt when the girl burst out laughing and disappeared. I don't know how.
And that's your trump card. You have built up an entire system to destroy my hold on the Queen's head and heart. A previous promise of marriage. A girl takes her revenge. The temple scandal. Telltale fine.
I was fulfilling my commission, that is all.
No, you thought you would scare me. But in point of fact, it is I who scare you, Tiresias. I scare you. I can see it written in large letters on your face. It wasn't so easy to terrorize the child. Confess that the child terrifies you, old man. Confess, old man. Confess I make you afraid.
Yes, very afraid. Oedipus, listen to me. You are pursuing classic glory. There is another kind, obscure glory, the last resort of the arrogant person who persists in opposing the stars.
Well, now, what did the old ogre say? Did he torment you?
Yes. No.
Why, he's a monster. Did he prove to you that you were too young for me?
You are beautiful, Jocasta.
That I am too old?
You rather gave me to understand that I loved your pearls and your diadem.
Always spoiling everything, ruining everything.
But you can take it from me, he didn't manage to scare me. On the contrary, I scared him. He admitted it.
Well done, my love. You dear. After my pearls and diadem.
Oh, I am happy to see you again without any pomp. Without your jewels and orders. White, young, beautiful. In our own room.
Young Oedipus, you mustn't tell lies.
Again?
Don't scold me.
Yes, I shall scold you. I shall scold you because a woman like you ought to be above such nonsense. A young girl's face is as boring as a white page on which my eyes can read nothing moving. Whereas your face... Oh, I must have the scars, the tattooing of destiny. A beauty which has weathered tempests. Why should you be afraid of crow's feet, Jocasta? What would a silly schoolgirl's look or smile be worth beside the remarkable sacred beauty of your face? Slapped by fate, branded by the executioner, and tender. Jocasta, oh, my dear little girl, you're crying. No. Oh, what's the matter? Oh, all right, and what have I done? Oh, Jocasta, tell me, what is it?
Am I so old? So very old.
My dear girl, it's you who persist.
Women say things to be contradicted.
What?
They always hope it isn't true.
Oh, my dear Jocasta. Oh, what a fool I am. What a great brute, darling. Don't cry. Now, come on, kiss me. Kiss me. I only meant...
And never mind. I'm being ridiculous.
It's all my fault.
It isn't. There. Oh, the black's running into my eye now. It's all over.
Come on, quick. Smile. Listen.
My nerves are bad because of the storm.
But look at the sky. It's full of stars and clear.
Yes, but there's a storm brewing somewhere. When the fountain makes a still murmur like silence, and my shoulder aches, there's always a storm about and summer lightning.
Come here, quickly.
Oedipus, come here a moment.
What is it?
The sentry, look, lean out. On the bench on the right, he's asleep. Oh, don't you think he's handsome, that boy, with his mouth wide open?
I'll throw some water in it. I'll teach him to sleep.
Oedipus.
How dare he sleep when guarding the
Sphinx
Queen?
is dead and you're alive.
Yes.
Let him sleep in peace. May all the town sleep in peace. May they all sleep, every one.
Luckiest sentry.
Oedipus, I should like to make you jealous, but it isn't that. This young guard...
What's so extraordinary about this young guy?
During that famous night, the night of the Sphinx, while you were encountering the beast, I had an adventure on the ramparts with Tiresias. I'd heard that a young soldier had seen the ghost of Laius, and that Laius was calling for me to warn me of a threatening danger. Well, that soldier was the very sentry who was guarding us.
I can guard you all right on my own.
Poor lad. I touched his shoulders and legs and kept saying to Zizi, touch. And I was so disturbed because he was like you. And it's true, you know, Oedipus, he was like you.
But, Jocasta, you didn't know me then. It was impossible for you to know or to guess.
Yes, that's true. I expect I meant to say my son would be about his age. Yes, I'm getting muddled. It's only now that the likeness strikes me. Oh, you know, you are very good looking. I love you. Oedipus.
My goddess.
I approve of your not telling the story of your victory to Creon, or to Tiresias, or to anybody. But to me. To me.
Yes, dear, I had your
Is
promise.
the Jocasta of yesterday the Jocasta of now? Haven't I a right to share your memories without anyone else knowing anything about it?
Of
And do you
course.
remember you kept saying, no, Jocasta, later, when we are in our own room? Well, aren't we in our own room?
Persistent monkey. She always ends by getting what she wants. Now, lie still, and I shall begin.
Oh, Oedipus, what fun. And I'm quite still.
I was nearing Thebes. I was following the little goat track which rounds the hill to the south of the town. I was thinking of the future, of you, whom I imagined less beautiful than you are in reality, but still very beautiful. Painted, and sitting on a throne in the center of a group of ladies in waiting. I said to myself, supposing you do kill it, would you, Oedipus, dare to ask for the promised reward? Should I dare to go near the Queen? I kept walking and worrying, when all of a sudden, I stopped dead. My heart was beating hard. I had just heard a sort of song. The voice that sang it was not of this world. Was it the Sphinx? My haversack contained a knife. I slipped the knife under my tunic and crept along. Do you know those ruins of the little temple on the hill with the pedestal and the hindquarters of the chimera. You know, Jocasta. Jocasta? Are you asleep?
What? Oedipus.
You were asleep?
I wasn't.
Oh, you were! Oh, there's a fickle little girl for you. She wants me to tell her a story, and then she goes and falls asleep in the middle of it instead of listening.
I heard it all. You're mistaken. You were speaking of a goat track.
I'd got a long way past the goat track.
Don't be angry, darling. Are you cross with me?
Me?
Yes, you are cross with me. Rightly. Oh, what a stupid, silly I am. That's what age does for you.
Don't. I'll tell the story again, I promise you. But Jocasta, first of all, you and I must lie down and sleep a little, side by side. After that, we shall be cleared of this sticky paste.
Huh?
This struggle against sleep, which is spoiling everything. The first one to wake up will wake the other, promise?
Promised. But give me your hand. I'm too old. Tiresias was right. You begin to tell me the most marvelous story in the world, and I go and doze away like a grandma beside the fire. Did I talk in my sleep?
You naughty girl. Have you some secrets you are afraid you might give away?
No, only foolish things we sometimes say when sleeping.
Till soon. My little queen.
Very soon, my king. My love.
Thanks to my unhappy childhood, I pursued studies which gave me a great start over the riff-raff of thieves. And I don't think this simple-minded monster is expecting to be confronted by a pupil of the best scholars of Corinth. But if you have played a trick on me, I shall drag you by the hair. I shall drag you by the hair. I shall drag you by the hair. I shall drag you till the blood flows.
That's
15.
He will open his
Come here. Help me.
What is
Everybody,
it?
come here.
What is it? Oedipus, my
Miss.
darling.
No.
I was in
no,
a dead
miss.
sleep.
Please don't.
Wake up.
No, let me go, miss. No.
Oh, my pet.
No.
No, don't scare me
No.
so. It's a dream.
No,
This is
no.
me, Jocasta, your wife, Jocasta.
No! Where was I? Jocasta, is that you? Oh, Jocasta, what a nightmare. What a horrible nightmare.
It's all over.
Oh.
You are in our room, dear, in my arms.
Didn't you say anything? Oh, of course, how silly of me. It was that animal skin. Oh, I must have talked. What did I say?
Now it's your turn. You were shouting, "Oh, no, miss, please don't, miss. Let me go, miss." Who was that wicked young woman?
Oh, I don't remember. Oh, what a night.
Yes, your shout saved me from an unspeakable nightmare. Oh, look, you're soaked through, dripping with sweat. It's my fault. I let you go to sleep in all those heavy clothes, golden chains, and those sandals which cut your heel. Come on. Oh, it's a big baby. I can't possibly leave you in this state. Don't make yourself so heavy. Help me.
Yes, my little darling mother.
Yes, my little darling mother. What a child. Now he's taking me for his mother.
Oh, forgive me, Jocasta. I'm half asleep. I mix up everything. I was 1,000 miles away with my mother, who always thinks I'm too cold or too hot. You're not cross.
Silly boy. There, let me see to you and sleep away. He must have been taken care of by a very kind mother. Very kind. And then he goes and leaves her, yes. Yes. There. I mustn't complain of that. I love her with all the warmth of a woman in love, that mother of yours who petted you and kept you and brought you up for me. For us?
Sweet.
Your sandals. Now, left leg. Now the right. Oh! Oh! Yeah! Oh!
You hurt yourself?
No.
My scars. I didn't know they were so ugly. My poor darling, did they upset you?
Those holes, how did you get them? They must have come from such serious injuries.
Well, it happened when I was an infant. I was in the woods, it seems. My nurse was carrying me. And suddenly, from a clump of trees, a wild boar broke cover and charged her. She lost her head and let me go, and I fell. And a woodcutter killed the animal while it was belabouring me with its tusk. It was as pale as a ghost. Oh, my darling, I ought to have warned you. I'm so used to them myself, those awful holes. I didn't know that you were so sensitive.
It's nothing.
And you just had a bad dream. But
No,
what?
Oedipus, no.
Why?
Those scars remind me of something I'm always trying to forget.
Oh, I always strike unlucky.
You couldn't possibly know. It's to do with a woman, my foster sister and linen maid. She was with child at the same time as myself at 18. She worshipped her husband despite the difference of age and wanted a son. But the oracles predicted so fearful a future for the child that after giving birth to a son, she had not the courage to let it live.
What?
Imagine, what strength of mind a poor woman must have to do away with the life of her life, the son from her womb, the ideal on earth and love of love.
And what did this woman do?
With death in her heart, she bored holes in the feet of the nursling, tied them, carried it secretly to a mountainside, and left it to the mercy of the wolves and bears.
No. And the husband?
Everyone thought the child had died a natural death and that the mother had buried it with her own hands.
And this woman still lives?
She is dead.
So much the better for her. For my first example of royal authority would have been to have inflicted on her, publicly, the worst tortures, and afterwards to have put her to death.
The oracles were clear and a matter of fact. Before those things, a woman always feels so stupid and helpless.
But to kill? Of course, it isn't infamous to kill when carried away by the instinct of self-defense and when bad luck is involved. But basely to kill in cold blood, the flesh of one's flesh. To break the chain, to cheat in the game.
Oedipus, let's talk of something else. Your furious face upsets me too much.
Yes, let's talk about something else. I should be in danger of loving you less if you tried to defend this miserable
You're
wretch.
a man, my love, a free man and a chief. Try to put yourself in the place of a child mother who is credulous about the oracles, worn out, disgusted, confined, and terrified by the priests.
A linen maid. That's our only excuse. Jocasta, would you have done it?
No, of course not.
Don't run away with the idea that to fight the oracles requires a Herculean determination. I could boast and pose as a wonder. I should be lying. You know, to thwart the oracles,
Oedipus,
I only had...
Oedipus,
What?
that little mouth of yours which chatters away those frowning eyebrows, fiery eyes. Couldn't the eyebrows relax a little, Oedipus? And the eyes close gently for once. And that mouth be used for softer caresses than words.
I tell you, I'm just a brute. A wretched, clumsy brute.
You're a child.
I'm not a child.
Now he's off again. There. Be a good boy.
You're right. I'm behaving very badly. Calm this talkative mouth with yours, and these feverish eyes with your fingers.
One moment. I'll close the grill gate.
Well,
I don't like that gate being open at night.
I'll go.
No, lie still. I'll take a look in the mirror at the same time. Oh, don't make me nervous. Don't look at me. Turn the other way, Oedipus.
I'm turning over. I'm shutting my eyes. I'm not here.
The little soldier's still asleep. He's half naked. And it isn't warm tonight. Poor lad. Oh. Oedipus, my dear.
I meditate.
Oedipus.
I weep.
Oedipus, there's a drunk and the sentry doesn't hear him. Oh, Oedipus, please. What's he saying? How soundly he sleeps. I might die, he wouldn't notice it. Oh, the beasts. Wretched brutes. Oedipus! Oh, wretched. Wretched. Beast. Oh.
"17 years soon pass. The great plague of Thebes seems to be the first setback to that renowned good luck of Oedipus. For the infernal machine to work properly, the gods wanted all ill luck to appear in the guise of good luck. After deluge of good fortune, the king is to know true misfortune, the supreme consecration, which, in the hands of the cruel gods, makes of this playing card king, in the end, a man.
What have I done to shock people now, Tiresias?
I think, and I'll say again, it might be more decent to learn of a father's death with less joy.
Indeed. Don't be afraid, boy. Tell me, what was the cause of Polybius' death?
King Polybius died of old age, my lord. And the queen, his wife, is barely conscious. She is so old she can't fully realize even her misfortune.
Jocasta! Jocasta!
What is it?
Oh, how pale you are. Don't you feel well?
The plague, the heat, visits to hospitals. I'm exhausted. I was resting on my bed.
This messenger has brought me great news worth disturbing you for.
Good news.
Tiresias blames me for finding it good. My father is dead.
Oedipus.
The article told me I should be his murderer, and that I should be the husband of my mother. Poor Merope. She is very old, and my father Polybius has died a good, natural death.
I never knew the death of a father was a subject for rejoicing.
I hate play acting and conventional tears. To tell the truth, I was so young when I left my mother and father that I no longer have any particular feelings for them.
Lord Oedipus, if I may.
You may, my boy.
Your indifference is not really indifference. I can explain it to you.
Is there something else?
I ought to have begun at the end of the story. You see, on his deathbed, the King of Corinth asked me to tell you that you were only his adopted son.
What?
My father, one of Polybius' shepherds, found you on a hill at the mercy of wild beasts.
What?
He was a poor man. He carried his find to the Queen, who used to weep because she had no children. This is how the honor of performing such an extraordinary mission at the Theban court has fallen to me.
Now, this young man must be exhausted after his journey, and he has crossed our town, which is full of noxious vapors. Perhaps it would be better if he took some refreshment and rested before being questioned.
No doubt, Tiresias, you would like the torture to last. You think my world is tottering? You do not know me well enough. Don't you rejoice too soon. Perhaps I am happy to be a child of fortune.
I was only putting you on your guard against your sinister habit of questioning, seeking to know and understand everything.
Whether I am a child of the muses or of a common tramp, I shall question without fear. Now, my lad, tell me.
Oedipus, my love, he's right. You believe everything you're told, and then afterwards...
What? Unflinchingly I withstand the hardest knocks, and you all plot to prevent me finding out where I come from.
Nobody is plotting, my love, but I know
You're wrong, Jocasta. Nobody knows me at present, neither you, nor I, nor anyone else. Don't tremble, my lad. Speak up. Tell us more.
That's all I know, Lord Oedipus. Except that my father untied you when you were half dead, hanging by your wounded feet from a branch.
So, that's how we come by those fine scars.
Oedipus, dear, come up here. Anybody would think you enjoy opening old wounds.
So those were my swaddling clothes. That story of the hunt is false, like so many others. Well, if that's the way things are, I may come of a guard of the woods and a dryad, and have been nourished by wolves. Don't you rejoice too soon, Tiresias?
You do me an injustice.
At any rate, I have not killed Polybius. Yet, now I come to think of it, I have killed a man.
You?
Yes, I. Oh, you needn't be alarmed. It was accidental, sheer bad luck. Yes, I have killed Soothsayer. But as for parricide, you'd better officially give it up. During a brawl with the serving men, I killed an old man at the crossroads of Delphi and Darlis.
At the crossroads of Delphi and Darlis?
Yes, there's marvelous material for you to build up a really fine catastrophe. That traveler must have been my father. Heavens. My father? But incest won't be so easy, gentlemen. What do you think, Jocasta?
She has gone.
Splendid! 17 years of happiness, a perfect reign, 2 sons, 2 daughters, and then the noble lady only has to learn this, and she turns her back on me. Let her sulk, let her sulk. I shall be left alone with my fate.
Your wife, Oedipus, is ill. The plague is demoralizing us all. The gods are punishing the town and desire a victim. A monster is hiding in our midst. They demand he shall be found and driven out. Day after day the police have failed, and the streets are littered with corpses.
I see what you're getting at, brother-in-law Creon. The ideal victim, the monster in hiding. From one coincidence to another, wouldn't it be a pretty job with the help of the priests and the police to succeed in muddling the people of Thebes to make them believe that I am that monster?
Don't be absurd.
I think you're capable of anything, my friend. But Jocasta, that's another matter. I am astonished at her attitude. Jocasta? Jocasta, where are you?
She is resting. Let her be.
Wait. Holes in my feet. Bound on the mountainside. How did I fail to understand at once? And then I wondered why Jocasta... Gentlemen, it is very hard to give up enigmas. I was not the son of a dryad. Allow me to introduce you to the son of a linen maid, a child of the people, a native product.
What is all this?
Oh, Jocasta. Once I unwittingly told her what I thought of a mother who could... I understand now. She must be utterly desperate. Wait for me. I must question her. Nothing must be left in the dark. This horrible farce must come to an end.
He's mad. What does all this mean?
Don't move. A storm is approaching from out of the ages. A thunderbolt is aimed at this man. And I ask you, Creon, to let this thunderbolt follow its capricious course. To wait motionless and not to interfere in the slightest.
You have killed her for me!
What do you mean? Killed her?
You have killed her for me! There she is! Hanging! Hanging by her scarf! She's dead! Gentlemen, she is dead! It's all over! All over!
Dead? I'm going up.
Stay here. As a priest, I order you.
Jocasta.
It is inhuman, I know, but the circle is closing. We must keep silent and remain here.
You wouldn't stop a brother from...
I would. Let it play itself out.
Jocasta.
Don't interfere.
You have killed her for me. She was romantic, weak, ill. You forced me to say I was a murderer. Whom did I murder, gentlemen, I ask you? Through clumsiness, mere clumsiness, just an old man on the road, a stranger.
Oedipus, through mere clumsiness, you have murdered Jocasta's husband, King Laius.
You scoundrels! I can see it now. You're carrying on your plot. It was even worse than I thought. You have made my poor Jocasta believe that I was the murderer of Laius, that I killed the king to set her free so that I could marry her.
Oedipus, you have murdered Jocasta's husband, King Laius. I have known it for a long time, but I have not said a word about it, either to you or to her or to Creon or to anyone.
Laius. It was him. I am the son of Laius and of the linen maid, the son of her husband and her foster sister.
Creon, if you want to act, now's the time, quickly. There are limits even to harshness.
Oedipus, through you, my sister is dead. I kept silent also, only to protect Jocasta. I think it is useless to prolong unduly the false mystery and the unraveling of a sordid drama whose intrigue I have finally succeeded in discovering.
Intrigue?
The most secret of secrets are betrayed one day or another to the determined seeker. Come in, shepherd.
Who is this man?
The man who carried you, bleeding and bound, onto the mountainside in obedience to your mother's orders. Let him confess.
To speak means death to me. Princes, why have I not died before, so as not to live through this minute?
Whose son am I, old man? Strike. Strike quickly.
Alas,
I am near to the sound of something that should not be heard.
and I to the saying of something that should not be said.
You must say it. I wish you to.
You are the son of Jocasta, your wife, and of Laius, killed by you where the three roads cross. Incest and parricide. May the gods forgive you.
I have killed whom I should not. I have married whom I should not. I have perpetuated what I should not. All is clear.
What linen maid was he talking about? What foster sister?
Women cannot hold their tongues. Jocasta must have told him her crime had been committed by a servant.
Uncle! Tiresias, come up quickly!
This time nothing shall prevent me.
Yes, I shall, Creon. The finishing touches are being put to a masterpiece of horror. Not a word, not a gesture. It would be improper for us to cast over it so much as a shadow of ourselves.
Sheer insanity.
Sheer wisdom.
No. Besides, power now falls into my hands.
Stop.
Why? But why has he done that? Better have killed himself.
His pride does not desert him. He wanted to be the happiest of men. Now he wants to be the most unhappy.
Let them drive me out. Let them finish me off. Stone me. Strike down the foul beast.
Father.
Antigone, my soothsaying staff, offer it to him from me. It may bring him good fortune.
Tiresias offers you his staff.
Huh? Is he there? I accept it, Tiresias. I accept it. Do you remember 17 years ago I saw in your eyes that I should become blind? No, I couldn't understand it. I see it all clearly now, Tiresias. But I am in pain. I suffer. The journey will be hard.
We must not let him cross the town. It would cause a scandal.
In a town of plague. And besides, the people saw the king Oedipus wish to be. They won't see the king he is now.
Do you mean he will be invisible because he is blind?
Almost.
But enough of your riddles and symbols. I shall give my orders.
Your police may be well organized, Creon, but where this man goes, they will not have the slightest power.
Jocasta. You, dear.
Father.
You alive?
No, Oedipus, I'm dead. You can see me because you are blind. The others can't see me.
Tiresias is blind.
Perhaps he can see me faintly, but he loves me. He won't say anything.
Wife, do not touch me.
Your wife is dead. Hanged, Oedipus. I'm your mother. It's your mother who is coming to help you. How would you even get down these steps alone, my poor child?
Mother.
Yes, my child. My little boy. Things which appear abominable to human beings, if only you knew, from the place where I live, if only you knew how unimportant they are.
I'm still on this earth.
Only just.
He's talking with phantoms. He's delirious.
Father.
I shall not allow that young girl...
They are in good care.
Antigone! Antigone, I am calling you.
I don't want to stay with you, Uncle. I don't want to. I don't want to stay in the house. Dear, dear Father, don't leave me. I will show you the way. I will lead you.
Thankless creature.
It's impossible, Antigone. You must be a good girl. I cannot take you with me.
Oh, yes, you can.
Are you going to desert your sister, Ismene?
Take me away, please, please. Don't leave me alone. Oh, don't leave me with Uncle. Don't leave me at home.
The child is so pleased with herself. She imagines she's your guide. Let her think she is. Take her. Leave everything to me.
Yes, Antigone.
Are you in pain, dear?
Yes. My head. My neck, my arms. It's fearful.
I'll give you a dressing at the fountain.
Mother.
Who would have believed it? That wicked scarf and that terrible brooch. Well, didn't I say so time and again?
I shall not allow a madman to go out free with Antigone. It is my duty to...
Duty? They no longer belong to you. They no longer come under your authority.
And pray, whom should they belong to?
To the people. the poets and unspoiled souls.
Now, come along. Grip my dress firmly. Don't be afraid.
Come along, Father dear. Let us go.
Where do the steps begin?
There's the whole platform yet.
Look careful. Count the steps.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And even if they pass through the town in safety, who will look after them then? Who will admit them?
Glory.
You mean rather dishonor,
9,
shame?
10.
Who knows?